Hello and good day. So before we begin our presentation, let me introduce our team members, Syahirul, Khaliq, Saidatul, Hanida, Izzah, Athirah, and myself, Ikhwan, Sahalan. So our project is about flight ticket price prediction. Predicting flight ticket prices has become a crucial part of the aviation industry. This project involves forecasting flight ticket prices by applying the early stages of the SEMA methodology, which are sample and explore. So before we go further with the SEMA process, let me explain a brief about our data set. Okay, we obtain the data from Kaggle, which is created from Ease My Trip website. So there are a total samples about 300,000 from both economy and business class. The dataset structure consists of categorical and numerical variables. So the description of the variables are listed in the next slide. So there are a total of 11 variables obtained, such as airline, flight code, booking date, destination, price, and etc. So the ticket price is the target variable for this prediction. It is influenced by all the other variables capturing the overall cost of the flight code, which are CH underscore code, and num underscore code is the unique identifiers that are used to distinguish the individual's record for each sample. That's a brief about the data descriptions. Let's moving on for the business understanding.
So for this part, our goal for this project is to analyze the flight booking dataset that we obtained from the Ease My Trip website from Kaggle to discover valuable insights that will assist passengers to get the best ticket prices. For our data, there are a total of 11 variables, and we are going to use few methods, which is EDA, feature engineering, as well as data munging. And we have been using EDA heavily for this part of the project. And then we have adopted SEMA methodology that has been developed by SAS. For this part of the project, we have completed the first two, which is sample and explore. For the later part, we'll be using modify, modeling, and assess methodology for our work. And for sample and explore, we imported the dataset as CSV file. Variables have been identified, metadata has been generated, and reclassification of role and level has been done. And data also has been explored to discover trend or patterns to get better insights of the data. Next, I'll pass to Saidatul.
Okay, in this part, we will be covering the first two phases of the SEMA methodology, which are sample and explore. For the sample part, first to get the metadata for the dataset, we first use the basic setting to get an overview of the variable. Subsequently, we dive deeper by using advanced setting for further checking the role and level of measurement of the variables before the variable can be used in the next phase. Based on the metadata for the advanced setting, it shows that the level of measurement for class variable, the class variable is binary and the role of the var variable is rejected. So we manually reclassify the role and label for the variables, and then we change the role of the price from input to target. Based on the summary statistic, it shows that there are no missing values for each variable. It shows that the average price and the standard deviation were relatively high, and this may be influenced by some flight with much higher fares, indicating a wide spread in prices. So the sampling method used to select the sample is random. We use random sampling method, and in the fetch size, we use default setting to fetch the 6,000 rows from the original dataset. And the figure below shows that the first 50 rows of the data. I will pass back to Izzah.
Okay, we move on to the next part, which is the result. The first analysis that we have done is the univariate analysis, and this is the date attribute part. You can see there's a fluctuation of booking frequency over time, and this might indicate there's a seasonality and promotional period occurs over the time. And this is where we can see the class attribute. There are two classes, which is business and economy. And as you can see, the economy has more people booking on that compared to business. Next is the airline attribute. There are 7 types of airlines. Vistara and Air India is the most frequently booked airline compared to the rest of the flight, and this indicates popularity and preference among the passengers. This is the price attribute. It is positively skewed with minor peak, and it is possible because of the price preference in which many people are choosing cheaper rate on the left side compared to the expensive one on the right side. There is also a potential outlier or noise detected in this graph, and then there is also a potential log transformation for better distribution later. The next part is the from attribute as well as to attribute. There are 6 cities upon departure and arrival, and the top 3 cities are Mumbai, Delhi, and Bengal. And this is the duration attribute, and it is also rightly skewed distribution. Also, there's a potential outlier detected, as you can see on the right side. It also gives us the opportunity to perform data transformation for better distribution later on our second part of the analysis. This is the stops attribute. It is indicating number of stop for the flight. The highest frequency is 1 stop, and we'll be conducting further analysis on this part. And last attribute is the via. If you can see here, majority of the stops is located in U and K. We might be excluding this attribute from our analysis due to high UDT. Next, I'll pass it to Khaliq for the next analysis.
Okay, we'll be focusing on the bivariate analysis. So firstly is the class frequency versus airlines. So as you can see that Vistara and Air India both has the highest most booked flights in economy, and they are the only ones that have in business class as well. So this indicates their dominance in the Indian domestic airline. For the class versus price, so as we can see that business class, medium price and range significantly higher than the economy due to the different amenities level. For the airline versus price, we can see that both Vistara and Air India has larger median and range as well, because they have both economy and business class. For the other 5 airlines, they managed to maintain small price range, which indicates the consistent budgeting. So this analysis showing the book route, in general, it is actually useful in indicating potential surge of prices during high demands or offer potential discounts for lower flight demand. So for the stop versus duration frequency, we can see the trend of higher number of stops leads to longer time travel, and we can also see the large duration range for the 1 stop and 2 plus stop because of the high variation of layover time. So for the multivariate analysis, we're focusing on first date versus class versus price, which indicates that the price fluctuates over time for business class and it decreases over time for economy class. So similar pattern was shown also for the date versus airline versus price graph, but we found a detection on specific outlier or noise on the SpiceJet, and we also realized that the Star Air has a relatively higher basic cost for economy class compared to others. So for the final multivariate analysis, we can deduce that non-stop prices have relatively lower costs for both classes because of the longer flights incur for more operational costs, and also low number of non-stop flight data is less represented. So in conclusion, we can say that the objective is to analyze the flight booking data set obtained from the Metric website. And the summary analysis, firstly, we can see that the dataset consists of noise and outliers, which requires modifying. And it also possesses patterns and trends discovered, which can be utilized to create a well-suited and robust model. Yeah, that is all from the team. Thank you very much.